Guys, if there's one thing I hate in this world, it's putting together gym equipment. Friends, Brian here from Middle Age Mind and Muscle. You guys know from the past videos that I have equipped my garage with a home gym. That's where I've been the past year or so. And I knew that it was very important that I had a reverse hyperextension. I had a lot of friends say, hey, I wouldn't do that. It's going to take up a lot of room. But I want you guys to know why I was so insistent on having a reverse hyperextension. And also, I want to talk to you guys about the one I ended up buying, the Rogue Westside Barbell Reverse Hyperextension Scout model. Like most of you who are in middle age now, I started working out mid-80s. I don't want to get into my life story because it's boring as hell. Or maybe it isn't. YouTube doesn't need another boring video. But what I do want to say is that even into my mid-40s, when I deadlifted 700 pounds for the first time, it was pretty bad. It was pretty rough. But then around that time, I realized to learn more, I had to get some good coaching. I was fortunate not long after to meet Louie Simmons at Westside Barbell in Columbus back in 2018.
The man himself.
Hey, come. We all came down. I didn't know this because I'm a metal guy. What's your favorite band to listen to when you're training?
I actually like rap.
And by this point, I had already learned about the reverse hyper, the posterior chain, why it was so important. And I also noticed at Westside Barbell that they had a long line of reverse hypers down the back wall. Not long after this, I did a bit of time in Cincinnati, briefly training with Shane Sweat, who was a great coach from Westside Barbell. And I've encountered reverse hyper machines at a lot of different gyms that I've trained at. I've learned the importance of, if you want a big deadlift, use a reverse hyper to get your posterior chain really strong. Think about it. When you go up with the reverse hyper, you're forcing all the muscles in your posterior chain to work together and contract. When you come down, you're decompressing your spine. It is an absolute amazing movement for strength. Moving forward to when I equipped this garage, there's only 650 square feet, so every square inch counts. I had friends saying, don't get a reverse hyper, it takes up too much space. I'm like, they can be pretty bulky. But then I discovered that Rogue made a version of the reverse hyper Westside Barbell Scout. I thought, okay, you know what? It's going to be worth the investment. I'm going to get it from my gym. Assembly. When I received it a few weeks after I ordered it from Rogue. I was concerned about what the assembly is like. If there's one thing I hate, guys, if there's one freaking thing I hate in this world, it's putting together gym equipment. But I cannot stand putting together gym equipment. It's something I absolutely hate doing. But I have to say the assembly wasn't that bad. I think all in all, it took me about a half an hour on a Sunday afternoon. It just came out of the box. It was pretty straightforward. Literally maybe a half an hour. And plus, I remember that day when I did that, I was very distracted. I was probably thinking about getting a deep dish pizza or something like that. Or wait, what was I thinking of? See, that's another thing about being middle-aged. I can't remember shit. So I was actually very happy with the assembly. And I've also never had to fold it up. I've never actually had to use that function. The reverse hyper is so important here at my private gym that I just leave it out. I've never folded it up, but there's a pin that you can use. And I've also had a lot of clients, once I teach them how to use it properly, then all of a sudden their squats and their deadlifts are going up. And they're like, oh my God, like what's going on? I'm like, it's because we're using a reverse hyper machine. It's excellent for your posterior chain. But this unit can fold up and you can put it against the wall or put it in a closet or whatever you need to do. I find it doesn't take up that much space. It's such an important piece of equipment that I do like having it here. So for all of you out there who want to build up your deadlift, your squat, it's a fantastic, one of the best pieces of equipment you can use. But I also want to tell you guys something else, being middle-aged. I knew when I was at a very strong point about 8 years ago in my 40s, I knew I was on the clock. You know, we can get into this discussion another day. I didn't know if I was going to be lifting quite as heavy in my 50s. I am aware that the body changes, but we are going to talk about this, guys. But I also learned back then, I thought, wow, you know, a lot of people who have back problems, who have hip problems, it's because they let those muscles just go. And I thought, you know, keeping the posterior chain really strong isn't important for just deadlifting and squatting and powerlifting. This is a life tool, man, for people when you get into your 50s and your 60s and your 70s to keep your back muscles, your spinal erectors, and all the muscles around your hips really, really strong. And you know what? Like, let's be honest, guys. We never thought about our hips much. I don't know about you guys. For me, it was almost 10 years ago when it really hit me when I was deadlifting and squatting a ton in my 40s. That's when I started having hip problems. That's when I really started to see the value of having a strong posterior chain. But again, not just for powerlifting, but for life. There's a weight restriction on this, but I have had a client who is well over 300 pounds use this with no problem. Use at your own risk. I really like it. I was really, really happy with the product. All my clients are happy. And I know for me, moving further into middle age, as most of you guys are as well. Now I'm 53, just turned 53 the other day. I want to keep my posterior chain as strong as possible to keep my lower back and my hips moving and pain-free. So if you're like me and you have a private gym or a garage gym and it's in very close quarters, I would really recommend, if you want to have a reverse hyper, it's portable, it can fold up. Again, I haven't used those functions, but I'm quite happy with it. So thank you, Rogue. Thank you, Westside Barbell. And let me know what you guys think. Do you guys have a reverse hyper in your private gym, your home gym? Do you like using one? What do you guys think? So this is Brian from Middle Age Mind and Muscle, and we will talk to you later.